Welcome to the Village Well podcast, brought to you by Village Well Books and Coffee in downtown Culver City. Welcome back to the Village Well podcast. I'm Jennifer Casper.
And I'm Cassidy Grace.
Hi, Cass. Well, thanks for joining me for this introduction.
Thanks for having me.
You've been on the podcast once before when we did our holiday recommendations.
Yes, I was talking about YA and middle grade books.
Oh, yeah. You had great recommendations.
Yes.
But I wanted to have you on today. This episode's going to air on Wednesday, August 20th. And coming up later this week is an event, well, two events that you're involved in.
Yes. We have fandom trivia, and that is on the third Wednesday of every month. And then on Saturday, we have the Hate to Love, Love to Hate community conversation that actually stemmed from a faux pas that I had made trying to plan our very first themed trivia night.
Yeah, that was a story that I wanted to tell on here because we're learning through it, and I'm sure our listeners can learn through it too, and maybe they'll want to join us on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think it's a conversation worth having. So
what happened the first time we tried to do a trivia event?
Well, originally I had wanted to do a themed fandom trivia night so that each trivia would focus on a different fandom specifically. And just because I'm a millennial and it's my go-to and it's such a big part of my life, Harry Potter was the first thing that came to my mind as being the perfect thing for a themed night. And I didn't really put too much thought into it past that.
And neither did I or anybody else involved over here, to be honest.
But then almost immediately from the public side of it, it was a conversation of Village Well as a safe space and how are we going to be encouraging the works of an author who is actively trying to bring division into safe spaces.
So we started getting feedback from like 3 or 4 customers who were clearly regular customers. It wasn't like random people from out of town who heard we were doing something and decided to rabble rouse.
Yeah, the response came specifically and directly from our community. And
they did not like that we were doing a Harry Potter trivia night because of J.K. Rowling and the statement she's made.
With her incredibly transphobic opinions.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons that this is a complex topic is because so many people have grown up with the Harry Potter franchise, both the books and the movies, being an integral part of their introduction into fantasy, into reading. And that community that grew around the works is so supportive of each other and so inclusive that in my mind, personally for me, in that moment, the community was able to be separated from the things that J.K. Rowling was saying. And so I very naively didn't think that there was anything wrong with hosting a community-centered event that revolved around Harry Potter specifically in the format of trivia. And when people started reaching out to us about the fact that that was not something that they considered to be inclusionary of a safe space, it was very important to us that not only were those people heard, but that now this conversation had started and where can we take this and how can we grow these feelings into a productive conversation that can involve the community at large. And so that's what then led to the event that's coming up this Saturday, which is Hate to Love, Love to Hate. So how are we able to separate the art from the artists? And Neil Gaiman is also a big talking point in that. There's several people over the last couple of decades that have become more and more prevalent in conversations like that.
Yeah, there's so many. And Claire Dederer wrote a great book, Monsters, about her struggling with the work of people who are, as she would say, could commit monstrous acts, but whose art she really appreciates. And how do we continue to appreciate that? So we just were struggling with it so much, and we decided to have a community conversation. We invited in, we hired a really talented local facilitator, Shifra Teitelbaum, and she's going to guide us through a conversation and help us explore these feelings. And everyone in the community, hopefully those people who reached out about that original trivia night will join us.
Yeah,
because they obviously had feelings, but hopefully other people will too, because it's something we're all struggling with.
We've got all these feelings built up in our heads and in our hearts, and to be able to talk about them with a community and not just have them in our heads or over the internet, I think is going to be really important.
Definitely.
Hopefully.
Conversations in person are so much better than conversations
So much
typed
better.
over the internet.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to close the loop, though, on the original Harry Potter trivia night that we proposed, we did not end up holding.
We did not. We canceled that. I believe we refunded everyone their tickets. And then from there, we pivoted
to encourage nerdy fandom trivia in other ways.
Yes. And this month's fandom trivia, which is on Wednesday, today, if you're watching it the day that this drops, we have a late 90s, early 2000s TV show fandom trivia coming up.
So so we do it every month now, and it's a different category each time.
Yep.
And you, Cass, are our fearless leader, coming up with the questions and leading us at night, and it's been really fun.
Coming up with those questions has been a lot harder than I realized. Big credit to all the trivia masters out there.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting ready for October or November or December. When are you going to do your favorite fandoms trivia?
Well, we have a themed horror trivia in October and then a themed Swiftie trivia in December.
December for Taylor Swift, who's dropping new music.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being here to talk about that. And I hope people are listening to the podcast and will decide to come out for the conversation. It should be really interesting.
I hope so. I think it's going to be a very good community-based conversation.
Yes, me too. So to cue up the interview we have this week, this is the second interview we're running that is a conversation with one of our sales reps from one of our publishers. And Andrea Tetrick is my guest. She has worked as a sales rep for 27 years, not for one big publisher, but for an umbrella group that represents a lot of small publishers. She joined Publishers Group West in 1998. PGW was purchased by Perseus Books and then by Ingram Content Group, which now owns it. Ingram also operates Two Rivers, which is another consortium of publishers that Andrea represents. And so the books that she talks about are some really cool books that are not published by the biggest publishers that have the biggest budgets. And there's a lot of like diamonds in the rough that we're able to discover by working with people like Andrea. And she has such a passion and such a long depth of knowledge about books and her books and California and all kinds of things. So it's really a pleasure to talk to her. And I hope you will enjoy the interview. Andrea Tetrick, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's great to have you in here. You visited Village Well several times to review your list, our shopping list, your catalog for the seasons. But this is the first time we're having you on our podcast.
Yes.
So I'm excited to have you here in real life and to talk about the books to our listeners.
Great. I'm just happy to be here, and it's an honor and a privilege to talk about my publisher clients' books to booksellers and your customers. So
great. Can you kick us off by telling us about the books that you represent? Ingram Publishing Services has two lists. Will you tell us about the two lists and who's on them? Just a brief introduction to who it is that you're representing today.
Sure. The two distribution lines that I represent are Publishers Group West and Two Rivers.
Okay. What's Publishers Group West? When did it start and how long have you been working with it?
I've been working with Publishers Group West for about 27 years now. And they were a small concern based out of Berkeley that I think it's like over 50 years now. They started a long time ago, and they basically invented this whole idea of book distribution, forming a compendium of small independent publishers who weren't big enough to have their own sales rep and distribution system. Charlie Winton and his band of merry brothers came together and basically were distributing books out of their jalopy trunks back in the day. Grove Press was one of the first big literary presses to come aboard. The publisher there, Morgan Intrican, knew Charlie from school. They went to Stanford together, and that's how that all got started. And then today it's probably we have 220, 250 publishers in our rotation. Some publish 30 titles a year. Some publish one title a year. And some don't publish for several years, but then have a passion project that they put out into the world, and we help them do that. In the list of categories, really, and the publishers that we deal with, it's basically sex, drugs, rock and roll, health books, children's books, high literature, low literature, everything in between. It's great. And I just feel like I'm at university every day learning about all these books in different categories. So,
yeah. And it really makes a difference as a book buyer for the store to have you come and be able to explain to me who these different presses are. I've only been doing this is my fifth year. My fifth year of buying books for a bookstore, probably my third year of doing it with regular meetings with reps.
Right.
And I just value so much what you guys know and the context you can give us. So there's lots of data we can look up, obviously, but for you to tell me the stories behind these books, it's really invaluable for me.
I'm glad that's the case. I'm glad that there's still some value in what we do. Being a road warrior and talking about books with all different kinds of bookstores there was many people that were projecting that this wasn't going to happen and it was ebooks all the way and everything was going to go online, but there is still some value in what we do, and I'm happy to be a part of that and help you out. And your store is beautiful. It's got depth and color, and I think you've really done a great job in 5 years.
Thank you. It's all about the personal touch. People come here to buy their books rather than buying them online because they want to interact with people while they do it,
right,
and have conversations either with other customers or with booksellers, or just touch and feel the various books they might choose. And so having you come here and do that with us completes the circle and enables us to curate a better list.
Well, great.
Yeah. Great. Let's get into some of the books that you brought to talk to us about. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with Culpability.
Okay. This is the hot title.
Yeah. Bruce Holsinger. This is from Spiegel and Grau, which is one of our great literary presses. And this is from the Two Rivers side of the distro line. It was chosen for a major national book club. This novel is a big book of ideas. I think it will be seen as the first big book grappling with the ethical snarls of the AI era that we are fully launched into at this point. But beyond that, it is also a family novel, a portrait of a rocky marriage, and it's got literary chops. It's got commercial appeal. It's a page turner. It's cinematic. And there's a tinge of a thriller element as well. So it's got tons going for it, highly readable. And we expect this to do well.
What are we talking about next?
Let's talk about Mona's Eyes. This is Thomas Schlesser, and Hildegard Serrel is the translator. This is a French book. It is an international bestseller, #1 in France and Italy. That doesn't happen all the time. 2 different readerships altogether.
Yeah.
So that just gives you an idea of what we have here in Mona's Eyes. Basically, it's the story of the relationship between Mona and her grandfather, Henry. They have 52 Wednesdays to examine and explore 52 great works of art. They go every Wednesday to the museum and discuss one work of art that day. They have 52 weeks to do this before Mona is projected to lose her eyesight forever.
Aww.
So this is very important to explore beauty and what it means to interact with beauty. It's a gorgeous book. It's very moving. And this is another one we just think people are going to want to pick this up. This is, even in hardcover, I think this is a great book club.
I could definitely see that.
Yep. Great for that. And there's a value added here. I wish I had a copy to show you, but the cover of the book will fold out into a poster that features in beautiful reproductions, like small pictures of the art that is discussed in the book.
On the inside or on the outside?
It will be on the inside.
In the inside of the font,
and you can hang it up and while you're reading the book.
Yeah.
So we're excited about this book. Le Figaro says, it's an earthquake, a seismic shift in the world of publishing, a Sophie's world set in the art world. Thomas Schlesser. Remember that name. Okay.
So it was originally written in French?
Yep. And it's translated. Yep.
And
this is from Europa Editions, and Europa specializes in translated literature and is one of the great literary presses that I have the honor and privilege of repping.
I agree. They're one of my favorites.
Yeah.
They most notably published the Elena Ferrante
Yep.
novels, the Neapolitan Quartet that
Yep.
starts with My Brilliant Friend.
Yep.
The New York Times called it the best book of the 21st century so far when they put their list out last year.
Yep, indeed. And Ferrante has a couple of books on that list, which is nice to see her represented and Europa represented so well. And a perennial bestseller, and I doubt you'll ever not have that book in stock for people to come in and pick up. So
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like it's going to be a charming read that explores the relationship between a grandfather and a granddaughter, and also one that it enables you to learn about all kinds of paintings and how to look at art.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I love
the
it.
value of beauty.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Let's talk about Heart the Lover. Now, this won't be out until October. So just in the beginning, just as the holiday gift buying season heats up, this will be on your shelves in front of store. There will be signed editions for this as well. And you've come in for a carton of those. So
Yeah. This is her first new book since Village Well opened.
on a Zoom call with the PGW sales force to discuss this book, Lily King mentioned that empathy, human connection, and love are what will save us. And this book touches upon those elements for sure. And couldn't we all use a little bit of that right now? All three of those notions.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah. And this starts out a bad date with a guy that our protagonist meets in a 17th century lit class, basically opens the door to this grand story that touches upon coming of age, growing older, and is so wise in its parsing of human relationships. It's just such a beautiful book. I was talking to one of your fellow indie booksellers yesterday from Pages, Linda McLaughlin Feigl, and we both noted that Lily King has a way of just bringing you into this like immediacy and intimacy. There's just some way that she just pulls in the reader, and so you feel like you're talking to a friend, and it's quite masterful. So that's Heart the Lover. Jot that one down. That one will be coming out in October.
And the cover is just spectacular. Orange is my favorite color, and it's bright orange
Yes.
with this bright pink on it.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to grab my eye every time I walk past it in the store.
I wanted to talk about The Enduring Wild, a journey into California's public lands. This is basically a road trip in book form covering California's Bureau of Land Management lands all over the state. This is the first book that really discusses BLM land beyond like a travel guide sort of thing. It's incredibly lavishly illustrated. This is from the Eastern Sierra where I live. So it's interesting that I just turned to this page. But it's just stunningly, it's got beautiful maps. Josh Jackson is the author's name. These 2-page like spreads are beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So is it a history of how land came under Bureau of Land Management?
Yes, it's a history.
Yeah.
It's a history, but it's also an exploration of the beauty of these lands, as well as talking about how this land is imperiled because of the mad rush for extraction at all costs. And
Now more than ever.
now more than ever, these lands are threatened to be privatized and destroyed. So he talks about that. He also discusses the indigenous folks who lived on these lands for millennia. So it basically early history to today, what's going on. And so I think that this is a beautiful book. And for anybody who's interested in California history and land usage, land management, and just getting out in nature and touching some dirt and trees, this is the book for you. This is from Heyday Press, based out of Berkeley, a venerable press that concentrates only on California titles with a strong native category as well, like California native writing. We love representing these folks. They have a great back catalog and always something new and interesting on every list. And we appreciate you supporting what they're doing. I know that you have a lot of Heyday titles in the store, right?
We love books about California. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be on a lot of people's holiday shopping lists.
Yeah.
This year. It's a gorgeous gift.
Yeah, for sure. There's another, in some ways, companion title from Heyday that I didn't talk about. This is another one I think will do very well. It's called Rocks and Riches, Exploring California's Stunning Geology. And that's going to be another one. We'll sit pretty close to this on the shelf. So that's another one to jot down. Yeah, Rocks and Riches.
Yeah, we'll definitely have it.
Yep.
All right, great. Bring us home. What's the last book you brought?
I wanted to talk about a kid's title, too. We do children's titles. And this big boy, Britannica's all-new Kids Encyclopedia. What we know and what we don't know, which I love. So there's still mysteries out there. The first edition of this came out several years ago in the middle of the lockdown period, but we still have been able to sell 500,000 copies of this worldwide. So this is definitely just checks off all the boxes for gift giving. This should be like in every kid's library, home library. It is arranged chronologically, so it goes from prehistory to the future.
I love it.
Space exploration, etc. And this is the kind of book that I would have loved to have had as a kid and just worn it out. Like I would have been touching it every day. And
I would have loved to have had it when my kids were little.
Yes,
I would be so much smarter if there'd been all these gorgeous books just 25 years ago.
I'm telling you, it's really true. It's like I learned something every time I flip through a page. You learn something, and it is not boring at all. It's not Dad's old encyclopedia. It's full of graphs, photographs, artwork. And these little sidebars are great because you can just open anywhere and learn something, and you don't have to immerse yourself for 2 hours.
Right.
And you can just look at one little sidebar and go away and think about it.
Yeah.
Or you can spend all afternoon like checking it out. So this is, I just think that this is a stunning volume and should be on every shelf in the country and bookstore in the land. So,
okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Andrea, are there any books that you would like to recommend? Do you have a favorite book or a short list of your favorite books?
Yeah. First off, I'm a huge Iris Murdoch fan. I think she's one of the great novelists of the 20th century. She's published by Penguin. The place to start would be The Sea,
right?
Which she won the Booker Prize for that back in the day. And the thing I love about Iris Murdoch's work is her characters are always in extremis, emotional or mental extremis, and they're always bad and unreliable narrators.
Yeah.
And that's a good one. The Sea. Also, her descriptions of food in this novel is great.
It's literary fiction.
Yeah. Mother's Milk by Edward St. Aubyn, deep backlist from FSG. That was one of the books in the Patrick Melrose novels. It's a suite of novels following the dissipation and regret of Patrick Melrose, who has self-medicated his way to a breakdown, having to deal with abuse from his father and abandonment of his mother. Excellent books. Funny and dark. Believe it or not, funny. And they were made into a limited series starring, I think, Cumberbatch.
Benedict.
Yes,
Cumberbatch.
Benedict. Yeah, I think he was in it. And also worth checking out. And let's see, a third book. I have fallen in love with a book on the McNally Editions list. It is one of my titles, but I would have picked it up, and I like to talk about it. And it's not about my job. It's about like how good this book is. It's called They by Kay Dick, and McNally Editions is reviving books that should have never gone out of print.
Yeah.
All literary masterworks. And this was written in the 70s, I believe, about a near future moment of state oppression where artists are targeted. Books start disappearing from people's home libraries in the middle of the night or when you go out on a walk. Artwork is destroyed. And it is chilling. It's quietly chilling and so well written. And so that's another one that I'm a big fan of, They by Kay Dick.
Thank you. I love that. All right, Andrea, it's been wonderful having you on the show today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and I would come back any day of the week to do another session someday down the line.
We'll definitely take you up on it.
All right, cheers.
If you'd like more information from us, check out the show notes or send us an email at podcast@villagewell.com. You can always order the books mentioned through our website. This episode of the Village Well podcast is brought to you by Village Well Books and Coffee. It was produced and edited by Josh Stretton Carlson, and our theme music is from Noah Vickland. See you next week, and keep reading.